Welcome, sweeties, Laura here. It is so lovely to have you with me today as we explore one of the most misunderstood cards in the entire tarot deck. Many people feel a little shiver of fear when this card appears in a reading, and I can certainly understand why. At first glance, it looks rather dramatic and even a bit scary. I remember when I first started my own journey with tarot, the sight of the tower would make my heart sink. I associated it with nothing but trouble and distress, a sign that something dreadful was about to happen, and I would brace myself for the worst, feeling a sense of dread. Over time, however, my relationship with this powerful card has changed entirely. I have come to see it not as an omen of doom, but as a messenger of profound and necessary truth. It has appeared in my own readings during times of great personal change. While those periods were certainly not easy, they were always transformative. The Tower taught me that some structures in our lives, even those we have built with our own hands and cherished dearly, are simply not meant to last forever. It showed me that true strength isn't found in resisting change, but in having the courage to let go and rebuild on a stronger, more authentic foundation. The Tower is a Major Arcana card. It speaks to the major themes and spiritual lessons we encounter on our life's journey. Unlike the Minor Arcana, which tend to deal with day-to-day situations, the Major Arcana represents significant turning points and moments of deep self-realization. When the Tower appears, it is a sign that the universe is asking you to pay very close attention. It is signaling a moment of powerful change, sudden change, and often unavoidable change that will fundamentally alter your perspective and the path you are on. The Tower is the 16th card of the Major Arcana, numbered 16. In numerology, the number 16 often relates to a process of awakening and the destruction of the old to make way for the new. It can be reduced to the number 7, 1 plus 6 equals 7, which is a very spiritual number associated with introspection, wisdom, and seeking a deeper truth. This connection gives us our first clue that the destruction shown on the card is not meaningless. It is a process meant to lead to a more profound level of understanding and spiritual awareness. The most prominent symbol on the card is, of course, the Tower itself. It is often depicted as a tall, solid-looking structure, sometimes on a rocky mountain peak. This tower represents the structures we build in our lives, our beliefs, our ambitions, our relationships, our careers, our ego. It symbolizes everything we have constructed to feel safe, secure, and important in the world. However, the tower in this card has been built on a false or unstable foundation. At the very top of the tower, a crown is seen being dislodged and sent tumbling down. This crown is a powerful symbol of materialistic thought, worldly ambition, and the pride of the ego. It represents our attachment to external validation, status, and power. The fact that the crown is the first thing to be struck and to fall signifies that this sudden event is shattering our false sense of superiority. It is a humbling experience, designed to bring us back down to earth and remind us of what is truly important, forcing a re-evaluation of our priorities and what we hold dear. The setting of the card is also quite telling. The Tower is often shown on an isolated, craggy mountaintop, under a dark and stormy sky. This isolation can represent the loneliness that often comes from living within the confines of our own ego or rigid belief systems. We can become trapped in our own little world, cut off from a true connection with others and with our higher selves. The dark sky warns of the impending storm, the dramatic release of energy that is about to unfold. It represents a way of life or a belief system that is no longer serving us. Its grand appearance hides a fundamental weakness that makes its collapse inevitable. The card asks us to look beyond the immediate chaos and see the path to wisdom that is being cleared for us. A bolt of lightning is seen striking the tower, causing the initial destruction. This lightning is not just a random act of nature. It symbolizes a sudden, shocking flash of insight, or a moment of divine revelation. It is an external force that comes from above, representing a truth so powerful that it cannot be ignored. This bolt of truth shatters the illusions we have been living under and breaks down the walls of our self-deception. It is the universe, or our higher self, intervening to force us to see a situation for what it truly is, without any sugarcoating. This moment of clarity can be painful, but it is also incredibly liberating. As the lightning strikes, we see flames bursting from the windows of the tower. In some decks, such as the classic Rider-Waite, there are precisely 22 little flames or yods scattered in the air. These flames represent the purging fire of transformation. Fire destroys, but it also cleanses and purifies, clearing away the old debris to make way for new life to grow. The 22 flames are particularly significant, as they correspond to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and the 22 cards of the Major Arcana. This suggests that even within this chaotic destruction, there is a divine order at play. It is a reminder that this event is a meaningful part of our spiritual journey. Perhaps the most human element of the card is the sight of two figures falling from the tower. These figures represent us, being thrown from our state of security and comfort. They are falling headfirst into the unknown, with no safety net below. This symbolizes the experience of having our world turned upside down, losing our sense of control, and being forced to let go of everything we once held onto so tightly. It represents a necessary release from a situation or belief system that had become a prison. Though they are falling, they are also being freed from the confines of the crumbling tower, liberated from its false security. The overall scene is one of complete and utter upheaval. Everything that was once solid and dependable is now collapsing. Lightning, fire, falling crown, tumbling figures. However, it is crucial to remember that this destruction is not the end of the story. It is the dramatic and necessary clearing of a path. It is the demolition of a structure that was built on shaky ground, so that something far more stable, authentic, and enduring can be built in its place once the dust has finally settled and the smoke has cleared. When we speak of the non-exalted, or challenging aspects of the tower, we are looking at the raw, immediate experience of its energy. In its most direct interpretation, this card points to a sudden, disruptive, and often traumatic event. It can signify a crisis that comes out of the blue and shakes our world to its very core. This could manifest as sudden job loss, the unexpected end of a relationship, a financial disaster, a health crisis. It is an event that pulls the rug out from under our feet, leaving us vulnerable, shocked, and disoriented by abrupt change. The non-exalted meaning of the tower also speaks to the painful shattering of illusions. We may discover a difficult truth about someone we trusted or find a goal built on a false premise. This revelation can feel like a betrayal, and we are forced to confront denial or ignorance. The pain of the tower is the pain of seeing things as they truly are for the first time. That clarity is harsh, leaving us to question everything we thought we knew. Furthermore, this card can point to the collapse of the ego. It forces us to let go of pride and the need for control. We may have built identity around a certain job title, a relationship, a particular set of beliefs. When the tower strikes, identity is stripped away. We ask, who am I without these things? This can lead to deep insecurity and confusion, and the search for an authentic self not dependent on external approval. Practically, the tower can warn of literal disaster, accidents, natural destructive events. It speaks to chaos, conflict, upheaval in our external environment. It warns that foundations are unstable and that a collapse may be imminent. The energy is explosive and unpredictable. The experience is loss and disruption. It is the storm before the calm. We must endure the falling debris before we can begin to rebuild, feeling lost amidst the rubble. Now, let us turn our attention to the exalted or positive side of the tower, which is where its true power and wisdom lie. The destruction it brings is ultimately a form of liberation. The tower that collapses was a prison, even if it was a comfortable one. It was a structure built on false beliefs, outdated patterns, limitations that were holding you back from your true potential. The tower's lightning bolt of truth sets you free from that prison. It is a radical act of grace that removes what is no longer serving your highest good, even if you were not ready or willing to let it go on your own accord. The exalted meaning of this card is all about breakthrough, revelation. The sudden flash of insight it brings can solve a problem you have been struggling with for a very long time. It clears away the mental fog, confusion, allowing you to see a situation with absolute clarity. This is the aha moment that changes everything. It is a spiritual awakening that shifts your perspective and allows you to move forward with a newfound sense of truth and purpose. This awakening can be jarring, but it is also a profound gift that aligns you more closely with your authentic path and your soul's purpose. In its positive aspect, the tower represents a necessary clearing of the decks. Imagine a garden that has become overgrown with weeds. You cannot plant new seeds until you have cleared the ground. The tower is that process of clearing. It removes the old, stagnant energy and outdated structures from your life to create a fertile space for new growth to occur. It is the universe's way of giving you a clean slate. After the storm has passed and the dust has settled, you have the opportunity to rebuild your life on a much stronger, more honest, more sustainable foundation than what existed before. Ultimately, the great blessing of the tower is the gift of humility and freedom. By stripping away the ego and our attachment to external things, it teaches us that our true security does not come from our job, our home, our relationships. It comes from within. It frees us from the fear of loss because we have already experienced a great loss and have survived it. As we come to the end of our journey with the tower, I hope you can see it in a new light. It is undeniably one of the most intimidating cards in the deck, and the experiences it represents are rarely easy. No one welcomes chaos, or the painful collapse of what they have worked so hard to build. However, the lesson of the tower is one of the most powerful and essential lessons that tarot has to offer us. It teaches us that destruction is not the end. It is a vital and necessary part of creation. It is the dramatic clearing that must happen before we can build something true. Think of the tower as a divine intervention, a cosmic course correction. It steps in when we have strayed too far from our authentic path, when we have become imprisoned by our own ego, pride, or fear. It brings a truth so powerful that it shatters our illusions and forces us to wake up. The change it brings is not a punishment, but an act of love from a universe that wants to see us free. It is a reminder that we are far more resilient than we believe, and that we have the strength to not only survive the fall, but to rise from the rubble, wiser and more aligned with our true selves. The next time the tower appears in one of your readings, I invite you to take a deep breath. Acknowledge the fear or apprehension that may arise, but then look deeper. Ask yourself, what structure in my life has been built on a shaky foundation? What illusion am I clinging to that is preventing my growth? What truth is trying to break through? See the card not as a threat, but as an opportunity, an invitation to release what is false and make space for what is real. Embrace its energy as a catalyst for profound and positive transformation in your life. Learning to work with the energy of the tower is learning to trust the process of life, even when it is uncomfortable. It is about developing the faith that even in our darkest moments, we are being guided towards a greater light. The collapse it signifies is not a failure, but a graduation to a new level of awareness. It is a powerful symbol of rebirth, reminding us that sometimes the most loving thing that can happen to us is for our world to fall apart, so we can finally have the chance to build a new one that truly reflects the beauty of our soul. Created by @LauraThetarotreader. Thank you for visiting the channel. If you are interested in learning more about tarot, we have a variety of playlists on the channel for you to explore. If you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing so we can reach others about the wonders of tarot. Thank you again.